second year with the St. Louis Cardinals. So this is back in, it must have been early April of 2007. And I'd been working with a player for now, this is going into the second year. Now this player, a very, very successful career. He's a lifetime 280 plus hitter. Okay, now if you're not a baseball fan, all that means is he does really well with a bat in his hand, so well that if he can continue to produce those results, he can play as long as he wants in the major leagues. Now the first year I worked with him, he had the worst year of his career. He was somewhere down around 210, 220 for that first year. And the problem that I started to recognize was a lot of the pitchers were starting to wise up about this hitter and realize that he didn't do so well against curveballs. Now, the first year I worked with him, I brought it up a few times, and every time I'd bring up the idea that we need to start working on his ability to hit curveballs, here's how he would respond. He would say, listen, when I was in high school and they first started throwing curveballs, I didn't hit curveballs then. When I went to college, I didn't hit curveballs. I'm a fastball hitter. I'm a professional hitter. I get paid to hit those fastballs out of the park. That's what I do. And I probably brought it up maybe 2-3 times over the course of the first year. And now what we're doing, we're now into the second year. We're just starting the second season. We've been through spring training. He's hitting about 230, 240 in spring training. But the deal in spring training, those pitchers, they're really just getting their stuff ready. They're not worried about the strategics of what pitches to throw at what hitters yet. And I know that the word's out on this guy that he's not doing so well against curveballs, and he's about to see, again, a very steady stream of curveballs coming his way. So we're sitting in my office. I live here in St. Louis, about 15 minutes west of here, a little township called Clayton. It's a high-rise building. We're sitting in my office, and I bring up the need, again, to focus on curveballs. And again, here's what he says, is that when I was in high school, they first started throwing me curveballs. I didn't hit curveballs then. Went to college. I didn't hit curveballs then. I'm a professional fastball hitter. That's what I do. I hit fastballs out of the park. I said, that's wonderful. But the deal is, they're not going to throw you fastballs anymore, and they're going to throw you a whole bunch of curveballs, and if you don't get this figured out, we're both going to get fired. Now, he might have the money that's okay. I don't. Okay, now you have to understand, I'm sitting in my office, and one wall of my office is all floor-to-ceiling windows, and the windows open. There are no screens, and he knows that. Sometimes in spring days, we'll have the windows open, and we're 8 stories up, and I say that to him, and he looks at me like he's going to throw me out the window. And he's big enough where I'm a little nervous. And I said to him, I said, listen, I know what's going on in your head. You've allowed yourself to fall prey to something called the trap of the viable excuse. The viable excuse you have is that you've never done it. And that's what's stopping you from making improvements, from changing for the better. And I said, here's what I want you to imagine. Now, I'm sitting looking at him, and the windows are behind me. And I said, I want you to look out that window. And I want you to imagine for a second that the solution to you having problems with curveballs is out that window somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I know it's out that window. I want you to look out that window and imagine somewhere it's out there. And he kind of, again, looks at me like, you're about to go out that window. And then I saw him look just over my right shoulder, and he kind of gets this faraway look on his eye. Maybe 10 seconds pass, he looks back at me and says, you know what I can do? I said, what? He says, what I can do, every home game, before the game starts, I can go in the batting cage with Iron Mike. Iron Mike is a name they've given the pitching machine at Busch Stadium that throws curveballs. Okay, I don't know why they call him Iron Mike, but that's what they call him. He says, I can go against Iron Mike every home game. I can stand in the box and see 10 pitches, 10 curveballs without a bat in my hand, just starting to look at the recognition. And then what I can do is I can take 10 cuts against it. I say, you think it'll work? He says, it can't hurt. All right, so a year of focusing on 20 extra pitches a day on home games against Iron Mike, the pitching machine. And this guy's batting average, the year before, he had gone 100 against curveballs, 212, 213, I think is where he finished the season. A year later, putting energy into one change, 20 pitches every home game, He's now doubled what he hits against curveballs. He's now hitting 200. He's still not lighting the world up, but he's doing so much better. And his overall batting average is up to 280 plus. Now, if you're not a baseball fan, you hit 280 plus, you can play in the major leagues as long as you want. Right now, I'm telling the story because there are some really good lessons in there. There are 3 things I want you to be aware of. I want to pull out of this little story. One, here's unfortunately something I know. See, every one of us in this room has our version of the curveball. And again, the curveball is that excuse, that blind spot, if you will, that stops us from searching for improvement, for making positive change. I know for years my curveball was, I'm too busy to work on improving. All right, now here's a question I want everybody in here to answer. What is your curveball?